You are listening to the podcast To Be Single or Not to Be by Shanna Montana, a podcast where we talk about the single life, dating, and relationships so you can make a decision at the end of each episode and decide to be single or not to be. That is the final question.
So today's topic is your partner will not complete you. Now, let's stop right here and have a moment of silence. This moment of silence is for all the people out there that we have heard say, and I literally saw this on, it might have been a Netflix movie or a TV show or something the other day, but along the lines of, I'm looking for someone to complete me, or my husband completes me. Now, y'all, guess where I heard this? I heard it on Divorce Court. That's where I heard it. And I think that might have been why I was triggered to have this episode, because so many times, if y'all watch, for the listeners that do watch Divorce Court, you'll know it's a new judge, Faith Jenkins. I like her. She's real good. But Judge Lynn Toller, she used to do this thing with her, the litigants. Candice, what are the people that come to court? What do we call them?
The litigants.
Okay. So those people. So she does this thing where she says, give me a 30-second spiel on why this is the man or woman for you. And literally, I feel like they are reading a script. But so many times, people, the women more than men, will say, oh, he just completes me and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Like, after all the stuff you done said about him, John running you down, he completes you, but whatever. So here we are. So something of the sort is what led me here. And personally, I just really don't understand how that's true. And I think it's a myth that we have to change the narrative on, because messages like that really, I feel, are doing more harm than help. And we really need to change the direction of that conversation today so that we don't wind up in divorce court. Maybe that's the moral of the story. Anywho, all of that said, I wanted to bring on a diverse group of people who I know can add some value to the topic, but are from very different walks of life in regards to the different fields we're in, the different ages that we are, and the different experiences that we have had. So up first, we have LaKenya. Say hi to the people.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Welcome. Up next, we have Miss Heather. Say what's up to the people.
Hello, everyone.
We are glad to have you. Up next, Kandice. Say hi to the people.
Hey, people.
All right. Up next, we have Brittney all the way from Washington, the home of Grey's Anatomy. Say hi to
everyone.
The people.
Hello.
And last but not least, we have Miss Nikita, who's been on the show before. Say hi to the people again.
Hello.
All right. So you all can see we have a larger group this time, and I'm excited to have all of you ladies on, because I know y'all are gonna teach me some stuff tonight. Let's put it that way. So let's get started. The first thing I want to ask, and whoever wants to go first, jump in like hot potato. Somebody tell me, what is the first thought that you have when you hear somebody say that they are looking for somebody to complete them, or my partner completes me? What do y'all think? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The first thing I think is like, girl, shut up. Like, that's when I'm watching Divorce Court, I'm literally like standing there with a straight face like Wednesday Addams. Like, really? He completes you? But y'all tell me, what do y'all think when y'all hear that?
I think,
I'm not sure.
Yeah. you must be in a rough life. You got to go searching. That's all I got. I don't say nothing else.
So you like, Brittney, you like that ain't it?
Yeah, it's sad, but when people say it to you, you don't know how to respond in a positive way to not make them feel insecure. So that's when you just hit them with a
Oh, so somebody's told you that before, that you complete them.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that go? You just hit them with the
Yeah.
I take it y'all aren't together today, are you?
That's it. No.
Okay.
No.
I'm about to say, how did that
No,
end?
ma'am.
We're going to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that conversation, how that went. Just you hold that thought. So someone else, what do y'all think when y'all hear that?
When I hear it, like, I just assume, like, this person is not giving much thought to what they're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I just think people say stuff and don't think about it at all. Like, I hope that people don't really feel this way, like on as large a scale as I hear people say that, you know?
That's hilarious. Like, that's so funny to me when I hear people say stuff like, because I tell people all the time, like, you're just talking, like, or you just lying. You just saying something to me. Like, so I get it, Kandice. I get it.
Yeah, I always question, like, okay, so what if they leave or something happens? Like, does that mean that you will be always incomplete?
And then what?
Yeah, so I just be like, wow, you should already be whole. I think, we're born pretty whole and we learn and then grow. I don't know if you was born without being complete already. So,
I think that what you said makes sense. I think that we're born whole, but I think sometimes experiences or life happens that makes us feel like we aren't whole. And that causes us to rely on another person to fill a space that we think that person can fill, when in reality, it's impossible for another person to fill that space for you. Exactly. Like anything,
But can I push back on that, like, born whole thing?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have a real, like, solid foundation on what I think about this yet. But, like, one of my thoughts is that we're not necessarily born whole. We are making ourselves, like, basically until we die. So there is no completion until life is over.
Right.
And so, like, the people we choose in our lives, like our friends, spouses, the jobs we choose, the, education we choose, like, that is creating us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
that makes sense.
Your partner, well, they're not completing you per se, but you see something in them that you either admire. Hopefully, like, if you're a healthy person, you're seeing things in your spouse that you admire, or hope to adopt some of their characteristics, or want those characteristics, like, imparted on your own life. So in a way, they are a part of who you're creating for yourself, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. And I think when I think about whole, everything you said makes sense, because we are creating our lives, our whole life, until we leave this earth. When I think about whole, what I think about is like that you come into this world as like a person, like I am who I am, and that I do have gaps to fill within that. But ultimately, like Heather said, like, when I think whole is that, like, if this person leaves me, because people leave, that I'm still my own one person. So I guess I think of, like, wholeness as oneness. Like, this is me. And even though I am building and creating a life around it, that you do, hopefully you complement my life, as you said. It's certain things you look at, you complement, you add to, you accessorize to some extent, but you can't fully complete everything. So I definitely see both sides of the spectrum. I think it's about, the perspective of how you look at it and what your definition of wholeness is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I just feel like everything you need, you have within you, and that you have a purpose without any other parts. Like, you're already enough of that.
Yeah.
So when we, like, add people to the mix, they're part of our journey and, like, a part of our experience, but they're not what solidifies who we are.
Right. Right.
So it's just, when people say, like, that completed me, I'm like, wow, like, especially now that we're getting up in age, I see life change so quickly that it's like, I just can't only depend on this one thing to feel whole.
That's scary.
Yeah, and that might be my issue. I'm Aquarius. I'm very like, you're not going to get me. So, that might be also my own issues that I have to rectify. But it's just like, I couldn't imagine that my life depends on this one person to be fulfilled.
That makes sense to me.
Above top.
I think that what people don't realize, and, this is just my, like, relationship coach and, like, psychology background coming in. I think what people don't realize, like, when you are in a relationship and you have a partner, there's a difference between having, like, a secure bond and attachment versus saying, oh, this person completes me. Like, me being engaged, my fiance does not complete me, but I can still have a secure bond and attachment with her to know that, we're in this thing together. That's different from saying complete and I'm depending on this person because, not to reference Will and Jada, because we've seen some things in their relationship, but one thing that she did say is that, Will is not responsible for completing her, but they can only add to each other. So like, your career and the things you like and your values, as you go through this life, your partner is just adding to that. They're not completing that for you. And just to know, I mean, through all the mess I didn't be in, is like, you was all right before, you're going to be all right after.
Who? That's it. You know what? I need to find that quote while we're on here. But I had a conversation with someone who was telling me about a young lady who was involved with a married man, unfortunately. And my conversation, and I didn't know the person. This was like third party sharing information. And my question was like, she's okay with like, basically getting somebody seconds or thirds. And she literally was like, the first thing she said was, at least I get to see him 2 or 3 times a week. That was number one. And then the second thing she said was, she literally said out her mouth, I don't want to be lonely. And what stood out to me is I've gone through my share of breakups and heartache. But like you just said, Brittney, at the end of the day, no matter how long it may take and what it may look like for me to get to the other side, you are always going to be okay. It may not look how you think. It may take longer than you would like. But guess what? Every single time I've been able to come out on the other side of it even better. And I think the one problem is that a lot of people are in situations and they, the brokenness that comes with a breakup or a separation or a divorce or anything like that, you do have to go through this period of loneliness, and you have to go through this period of getting to know yourself and this awareness. And you have to tap into all these emotions that are not fun, but you have to be okay with going through that hurt. It's almost like if you're going to have a child, there's going to be some pain associated with it. But guess what? You got to go through it to get the baby out and come on the other side. So even if you're in a jacked up situation, it's like you have to know that it's messed up. Yeah, even if I'm messing with a married man, it's still gonna hurt me when we quote unquote break up. But guess what? I just got to deal with that hurt and get to the other side of it. So that is so true what you said about that. So Nikita, what do you think? Do you think that this whole idea of this person complete me, are people nuts, or what do you think?
I want to come from the perspective of thinking about Black women.
Okay.
I think that Black women are told, like, especially like depending on where you're from. I'm from the South, and so you know how like in the South they're like, oh, they put so much emphasis on us being chosen by somebody that makes us worthy, especially if you grew up in church. Mm-hmm. And I just think it's crazy because in church they teaching you 2 different messages, right? They like, oh, you find your wholeness in God, but then they're like, oh, but your worth is when you get chose to be somebody's wife. So which one is it? So
right.
I actually think that it's very unhealthy to talk about somebody completing you, because when I hear that, I hear insecurity.
Yeah.
And I know people who have said that, and they are in relationships and marriages that they should not be in.
Yeah.
Based off of saying that. So
that leads me to ask you, when we think about, this idea of the partner completing you, something that you just touched on in saying that sometimes people get that idea from the church, and we're going to talk about, where else people may get that idea from. What did that look like for you in your experience of like being in the church and that being told to you and growing up in the South?
I just think, like, if, for instance, I'm just thinking of it like in the context now of me being an adult, because I'm not married and I don't have children. The question is, why aren't you married yet? Why don't you have kids? So for me, sometimes it makes me feel like, and I love my mama, I don't think she'll listen to your podcast, so I'm about to say it. And if she happened to stumble upon it, I'm sorry, Mom, but I can only be me.
Right.
But during the holidays, my mom kept saying stuff like, all my daughters are beautiful. Why don't y'all have a man? And so finally I had to tell her, I said, let me tell you something. My worth and value is solid. Like, whether I got a man or not, it doesn't matter. You don't need to question how you raised me because I don't have a man. Like,
yeah,
I'm not bringing somebody to my mama and them house for the sake of saying, Mama, I got somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. And I told her straight up, you've been married 30 years. It's different.
Yeah.
You and Daddy, I love y'all. It's different. So you can't compare the two. And so for me, sometimes it just makes me feel like, even with like my parents, it's like they're putting stock in the fact that I don't have somebody means maybe like something's wrong. I'm not worthy.
Yeah.
And I just feel like they're projecting, and sometimes it makes me question myself, but I'm getting better at just like blocking it. Like I get
setting a boundary. Like, this is what we're not going to do.
Like, we're not going to talk about this, because until somebody can show me that they're worth being in my energy like that, I don't want that. Like,
I agree. What would you all say? I would say our therapists that are on the line, where do you all think we have gotten this idea from that, you know, a person is meant to complete us?
Immaturity, society. We hear it in songs. We, you know, see it in movies. Like, it's kind of around us in a way. So, because I know even on some immature shit, I've said it as a young girl, like, told my little baby, like, wrote him some little letter talking about he complete me or whatever, you know. So I think when I hear it, it's such a sign of immaturity to me. And then it's not until, like what everyone has shared earlier, it's not until you have those experiences where you've been through those breakups and you see like, oh, okay, I really am okay after crying and partying, whatever I need to do, or just growing within yourself to know that that's like crap to even say that you need another human to complete you, you know?
Because I think also when it comes to it, when I hear people say it, I think Heather kind of touched on this earlier. When they say somebody needs to or somebody completes me, I always jump to the thought of like what exactly is it that completes you from this person? Like, I want specifics. I want details, you know.
Mm-hmm. Let me be the devil advocate too, though, on this, because I agree that, and I think this is why people have it so misconstrued, is because I do think that as humans, we need fellowship. Okay. And we do need connections.
Yeah, we do.
And so it's so significant to have those fellowships and those connections with people and, you know, intimacy, not just sexual, but intimacy with someone that it feels like is detrimental if we don't. Because I believe how, you know, on a spiritual note, how the maker made us, it was not to be alone.
Not at all. That's in the hierarchy of life.
So I understand that need and that want to be with someone. But the problem that we have is that when we say like this completed me, it goes along with like maybe a picture or a concept that we have that this should be the final puzzle. You know, you check all these things off when it's like, we do need fellowship. We do need to have an intimate, you know, acquaintance or person, but it does not mean that this is the all of all. This doesn't mean that the, you know, let's just, you know, make this and seal it and you got to deal with whatever because that completed you.
Right. It's not the end all be all in each case.
Yeah. So I think even here, like scriptural-wise, it's like, you know, I don't think it was meant for us to be alone. I agree we need fellowship, but that does not mean that I need to seek any person to be this final destination for my life.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I definitely get that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you this, Kandice. I'll say, because you're married. I want to jump to you, but say what you're going to say, because I was going to ask you a question. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to piggyback off Heather a little bit with like what she said about needing fellowship and talk about like some of the things that I feel like I'm recently having to unlearn. So I feel like growing up as a Black woman, especially like when you have parents kind of encouraging you to, you know, do something to go farther than maybe they had gone. A lot of that is like, basically be self-sufficient, don't need a man. These are the pitfalls that you can hit that can kind of derail you from what you need. And so for me, like, you know, my dad was always telling me to not put myself in a position to need a man other than him until I'm secure myself. Like whatever lifestyle I want to have, be prepared to provide it for myself.
Right.
And so that's kind of the mindset you have, which is fine when you are trying to get to a certain destination and not be like distracted.
Yeah.
But then now in a marriage though, like you have to do away with that. Like that kind of thinking is destructive to a union because now I really, what you're trying to block me from with the independence is like assholes or people who don't mean me well, you know, steering me wrong. But my husband is supposed to be a partner and somebody who I can trust and don't need to be independent from.
Right.
And so now kind of I have to change my thinking a little bit to allow space for him to add to my life where instead of thinking like I need to be completely self-sufficient. And so it's like this concept of interdependence versus codependence. Like codependence is this negative, like, you know, you complete me, meaning like I couldn't go on without you in my life, and I can never, you know, like this is like low self-esteem. And, you know, I think that could be a more destructive mentality. But like there's something in between, like I don't want to be self-sufficient. Like I don't seek to be self-sufficient. I want to join with or make that connection with a partner, and maybe we complete our marriage together. Like we're creating this other thing that we're completing with each other, which requires us to depend on each other and need each other in a way. But like, I think sometimes people jump to that feeling without having a spouse, you know, and it's, you know, and I think that makes a difference. And I'm not necessarily saying you need legal marriage, but you need a real genuine partnership. And I think sometimes as women, we're so eager for that. Like we jump to giving men these accolades that they don't deserve. And like, you've been on 5 dates, you know?
That's it. That is it. We already have idealized and romanticized it. Yeah. Well said. Well said. Round of applause right there. Because I think that we romanticize it and we idealize it so much in our heads that you're right. By the 5th date, we've already decided that like, he's the one. And, you know, it's our 5th date with him, but it's also his 5th date with like 3 other girls. So you're not the one, you know.
And how is he looking at you? Not that we should be that concerned with like how a man is looking at us, but I do think like we teach people how to treat us. True. And so when you're opening up a relationship, telling a man basically you were just out here like lost and aimless until he came in, he's going to treat you like that. You know what I'm saying? What does he have? He hasn't even had to really rise to the level to prove anything to you before you're giving him the credit. Yeah. For over your life like that, you know? And I think that really does, even if a man is well-intentioned in the beginning, I think that kind of stuff, giving up that kind of stuff so early makes him feel like he needs to do less for you. It doesn't make him feel like he needs to rise to the occasion to prove himself to you.
That's exactly what happens. And that's why you wind up, I think, with somebody who you think is Prince Charming, and then you find out 2 months later they're really a narcissist asshole that you shouldn't be with in the first place, because everything that literally glitters in the beginning is not gold. And we, again, like you said, we get so far ahead. And I think also going back to something that Nikita was mentioning to her mom, and I know my mom has said before, you know, once you reach a certain age, it's really like once you get like 30 plus, the parents really start laying it on thick. And friends or family or whoever start laying it on thick, you know, your last one is not pregnant. When you gonna get a husband? When you gonna bring a son home? You know, it got so bad. My mom would start asking me when I'm getting married. I start asking her, when you gonna get married? You know, we in competition. You know, so stop asking me. I won't ask you. You know?
All right.
Let's call it even. But I definitely agree with everything you said. I think we just give out too many accolades and we give people too many trophies for things that they really have not earned. And on that note, we're going to be right back with continuing this conversation. And we're back. So we are going to continue this conversation. And I really want to get into, you know, what the work actually looks like when it comes to making sure that we are filling in the holes or the gaps that we think are missing that someone else is going to complete. So I want to ask you ladies, you know, what work do you all think people really have to do on themselves to determine, you know, if it's like me that's messed up? I don't want to say messed up. It's me that needs to do some kind of self-work, or if I really am just missing the companionship of a partner. But now that I say that out loud, I don't think you ever can be just missing the companionship of a partner. I think that's called like loneliness. I think that's normal when you're single. You might get lonely here and there. So I'm just going to pull it back in and ask, like, what would you all say that self-work looks like? And I'll just say for me, it looked like to me kind of just having some really honest conversations with myself, because I found myself in a situation where I kept choosing the same guy over and over, you know, not really physically, but it was the same person internally. I kept choosing narcissists. I kept choosing fuckboys. I kept choosing the people that they were treating me exactly the same. And it's like by the 3rd time that I got in that situation, I finally woke up like, bitch, it's you. It's not them, you know? So I'm like, they aren't great people, but I'm the one who put myself in that situation. And so for me, it was just like honesty hour. Like, Shane, you got to stop playing. You got to be real. You got to understand that if you say you are ready and you want a serious relationship and you want serious companionship, then you have to do things a bit differently. And you have to stop playing these games or allowing people to play these games with you. So in speaking, whether you all want to speak from a professional perspective or even from your own experience, what has the work looked like for you to get to a space where you knew, like, I have to work on myself before I can allow somebody else in my space?
So, like, for me, I've been with my husband since, like, we've dated since I was in my late teens. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting to get to a point, like, maybe in the last couple of years, having these conversations and trying to identify, like, what are things that, like, what do I specifically enjoy doing? What do I specifically want to see, you know, the next 5 years? Like, these are questions I hadn't really had to ask myself as an individual because I've always thought of my life like in tandem with another person. Mm-hmm. And so one of the like lonely, like you talked about, like sometimes single people feel lonely. And so I think kind of changing the thought about that is like the loneliest feeling really is when you are partnered, but it still feels like something else, like you're not getting everything you need out of your like relationships. And some great advice I got from a woman, a friend of mine, her aunt, she's been married for, you know, probably over 30 years. And she, you know, was saying how important it was for her to keep community around her, like never just rely on your relationship for your own well-being. And it's not just friends, but like also your career, trying to be happy in your career, trying to be happy in your hobbies, like continuing to like really exercise like all parts of yourself. And so it got to a point like with my husband, like we talk and, you know, he's, you know, we're trying to rediscover each other and, you know, he's asking like, what specifically do I like doing? And I can't answer those questions. You know, I'm like, oh, no. Like, I don't know what I, like, if it's only me, like what I would be doing. And so one of the things I do to work on that is like really ask myself and challenge myself to do things that are unique to me and that, you know, and like think about them. Cause I think we just go through life sometimes and it's like, unless something really bothers me, I'm okay with it. I'm not super easygoing, but you know, I think that for the most part, I'm going off a feeling every day. I'm not really like identifying the things that satisfy me or bring joy to me. And I think that's the work, like pinpointing that, like making it your job to know yourself.
I love that. And that makes sense because you got me sitting here thinking like, what do I individually like to do? And like one thing that stands out to me is I like to rollerblade. I've never dated a man that likes to rollerblade. So, you know, that's like one thing that's like when I did deal with somebody before, like that was my thing. When I wanted to go and do something, that was one of them. So I like that idea, like really identifying. And, you know, I think you sometimes got to dig a little bit deeper, or it might not even be that deep. Cause I was going to say, you know, be like, you know, more than eating, you know, we say stuff like that. It's like, well, yeah, both.
Shopping.
Yeah, shopping. We all like that. So try to think a little bit beyond that. But I love that example. So what else would you guys, the rest of you say? What does that work look like for you?
I think for me, you know, going through every single one of my breakups and kind of looking through the common denominator on what my issue was, is I really had to find peace within myself. Just peace that like really surpasses all understanding and setting boundaries. Like I got so strict that it was like, you can't even come to my doorstep if I feel like you're going to disrupt my peace. You can't even have my address. I don't want you to know the type of car. Like I got so picky with people that were just in my realm, because what I realized is I would get into these relationships and my peace would be so disturbed and distraught that I started making bad decisions out of that chaos, out of the mess and the drama that I had put myself in. You know, they were bringing drama into my life with, you know, all they were doing, but I put myself in that situation and then I stayed in it as the chaos was just forming around me. So finding that peace where I was like, I'm at peace just being alone. Just being alone.
That's a beautiful thing.
You can't even, I can't exchange energy with you unless I know it's not going to disrupt that. And, you know, once you get to that point and you are ready to start dating and you're in a relationship, you'll set a boundary even with your partner that like, this is disrupting me. We need to get it together right now or something else needs to happen. But that piece was really, I don't even know how to describe it, but that was really important for me.
I know the feeling. And I think even when you get in relationships, you still have to have that peace. Like that's one thing that's like a qualification to be a partner, is that we have to be able to have a level of peace within each other. And also to be able to talk about what my boundaries are, what my triggers are, so that you don't interrupt my peace, different things like that, so that you'll be able to know moving forward, this is the harmony that, you know, attracted you to me. If you want to keep this same thing going, this is what it has to look like. So what else would you other ladies say? What was something that was significant in you doing the work in your life? Because I know we've all been there before.
I really feel like you really need to, in the words of our good friend Keisha, you need to be dutiful in dating. Like you need to do the work. And I know people like, well, you need to work on yourself first. But I think what happens is we, you know, date a little bit and then commit right away to something that we know, is not for us.
No.
And one way of me learning myself and like what I really can and can't deal with is not committing to the idea that I have to date this one person. Like, no, I'm dating a variety to see, you know, what I don't want to get back in, what I can deal with, what I can't, you know, I learned myself in that.
Yeah.
So I feel like more people should, you know, open themselves up to like all areas of dating and not just, oh, I met this nice guy and we're now exclusive. Yeah. And then you be like, man, I really don't like this about him. And he brings out this part in me. Yeah. And I don't even like this part. Yeah. No, you get widely spread, you know, and that way, when you're doing your self-reflection, you can say, you know, maybe this is something that I've realized I don't like, because I do feel too like dating is like a mirror put on you and you have to reflect anyway. So it's like that for me really kind of helped me get to a place where I'm like, Brittney said, like, you can't come in, you can't disturb my peace. I learned all of that. Yeah. From being out here dating. Like, okay, next time I ain't let nobody come to my house because this is a boundary for me. Yeah. You know?
It's like you learn with each go around. You learn something else. You know?
Go around.
Yeah, each go around you learn. Nah, nobody can't come to my house no more. Nobody can't text me after 10 no more. Nobody can't meet me at this restaurant no more. You start coming up with your list.
Yeah, and then you might learn, like, you know what? I don't want to be controlled either. I need someone that's open to understanding me. And that helped me work on like the people that I was allowing into my world. I was like, you know, maybe it's me getting men or people that feel like I'm helpless and they need to control us. So, you know, in every aspect of my dating, I learned something really about myself that either I need to bring out or I need to deal with.
Yes. I love it. And I think what you said about earlier, you know, I've heard people that have been in, you know, good relationships from what I know, say things like the right partner will like make you look at yourself. And I didn't realize that. Look, I'm like, when is this episode going to air? So I didn't realize that till a certain time in my life when somebody like, in a healthy way, of course, but like challenge me on things that I'm like, I've been doing this shit for 15 years. Ain't nobody said shit. And it's like, it's things that I knew were wrong. It's things I knew were selfish. It's things I knew I shouldn't have been doing, but nobody ever challenged the status quo. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep trying it till somebody tell me not to. And so it was like in those moments of that person, like bringing these things to light, it was like, I'm big on like accountability in my professional life, but like my personal life, I kind of struggle with it, you know, but it was like, damn, now I got to be accountable for this shit. Like,
right. Okay. I got to own up to this. Yes.
I got to own this. And it was for the better because I'm a firm believer. If I'm going to work on something or change it, even if it's going to benefit the relationship, I need to see the benefit for myself because like we talked about, if this doesn't work out and I made this, you know, I'll call it an enhancement or improvement of my life. It's still going to help me even when you're not there. So I look at things like that. If somebody brought something to my life that I could change, that it's like, yeah, I see the value in that, but it's true. And I never got it. When people used to say it, I'm like, what does that mean? Like look in the mirror at yourself. Like I never got it till I was like dead slap. It was in front of me like, oh, that's what this shit mean. Okay, let's do it. So, you know, that's where I was. So Kenya and Nikita, what would you all say your work has looked like for you?
A mix of like of all of that. And really, to when Brittney was speaking, it made me feel like you really have to be kind of dedicated to yourself first and foremost. Like before we start hopping into relationships and situationships, whatever it could be, like you always have to like be in touch with what your needs are, what your boundaries are, kind of where you're at, you know, mentally, physically. And because as we grow, we change, we develop, we shed new skin, we become different parts of ourselves. And so I think it's helpful for me now, like the journaling, the yoga, the meditating, having a therapist, having a space where I can feel like, okay, this is focused on me for a minute. And, you know, not having like the pressures of having to like listen to somebody or like feel like I'm just like really just having that moment with someone. So that has been able to help with processing all the fucked up relationships and the fucked up life, like societal shit that I'm facing and like going through. So I think one for me, it's not no more of like the cute, like, oh yeah, new year, new me, like I'm doing it. It's like really like through the ugly, through the hard, through the where I'm setting boundaries that I feel uncomfortable about, or I'm communicating, I'm nervous about it or whatever, like pushing your limits and like being dedicated to that growth and that healing. And then for me, I feel like once you start to do that, the universe and God, it will respond to you. Yeah. And then you'll start to attract the people that you need, you know, for that part of your life. So
absolutely. You were like, people say New Year, we say New Year, new me. Nah, new Wednesday, who me? I mean, who
okay, yes.
New Thursday, who this? Like,
yes, every day
it's another one. Who is this? Like, let's be clear. We don't have to wait for a new year to change. It's every day around here.
Yes,
Wake up. You said shed new skin every single day. I love it. Yeah. And Nikita, I want to ask you, because I think this is a question that everybody is unique. So what stands out to you as far as like the work that you've had to do?
Oh, Lord. So I said this on the last podcast. I had to go to therapy. And also, and I talked about that on the last episode that I was on about why I had to go to therapy. But one thing that I did that I think helped me do my self-work was become abstinent.
Okay.
And y'all, it's been a long time. It's been like 5 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, but I will say 5 years, I needed to do that. Where I was at 5 years ago in my life, a lot of emotional trauma from being in the wrong relationships. And at that time, I was in a relationship with a man that I found out he was married and I did not know that. And so it really made, similar to what you said, Shayna, I was like, why do I keep choosing the same dudes and different bodies? You know what I'm saying? So at some point you have to look at yourself, like you said, and say, you know what, it's not them, it's you, because you keep choosing them. You keep letting them into your life. And so I chose to be abstinent. It was the best decision I could have made for myself. And, you know, and during that process, and then also, you know, going to therapy for the last 2 years has helped me. And so now I feel like if I choose to open myself up to somebody in that way, it will be healthier. You know what I'm saying? Because I know my triggers, I know what I'm not going to allow. I know my boundaries, all of those types of things. And so for me, it has just been therapy and abstinence and just getting it's fortunate, but it's really hard to be honest with yourself. Yeah. Like, you know, I was very impulsive 5 years ago. And even like in my 20s, like, you know, if I liked a dude, I thought he was cute. I'm like, that's my boo. You know what I'm saying? And you can't, when you grow and mature in relationships, you can't move like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to have boundaries. You got to be real clear on a lot of shit. And so, that has been the work. And so I'm hoping that abstinence piece, you know, I'm hoping that can, you know, 2020 taught me that was a lot of alone time. And it also taught me that it's time. You know what I'm saying?
It's time. It's time. The time
well,
is
and
now.
just to like add on to what, you know, she said, because Kenya said it as well, just like once you get to that place, you'll start attracting the right people. And that was really hard. And that's one of the things that, you know, I got to say to my friends, like even my best friends was like, girl, you are attracting those people. Like, it's not like the saying of birds of a feather flock together. It's like, you are attracting that drama. It's not like, oh, I'm just the only person without drama. It's like, what was the common denominator for them to bring that chaos into your life, that drama into your life? Like, you allowed that. And so now you're sucked into that. So once you really start changing and manifesting that I am in peace, I only allow peace around me, like that shit, you really do start attracting people that like, oh shit, you ain't about no drama. Like this is really what So you really be like, oh shit, like that's where it's at, because people like to point the finger, but it really is like, well, somehow they kept picking me. Like, oh yeah, I chose you, but somehow you reciprocated and you picked me back, and I'm in this situation. So what is it?
And
what is it about me?
That, I think also along with that, Brittney, I found that, you know, certain things were attractive, you know, so say like we all have like a physical type, everybody has some kind of preference out there. And so you may find that, okay, you are going to be drawn to that preference or whatever. But then once you kind of get to know the person, start having these conversations, in the beginning, a lot of times you can tell the kind of guy that you're messing with. You can kind of tell what they're about. And so what I found in my maturity, and as I grow up and as I move away from those things, is that these niggas that was around doing the same thing 5 years ago, they still doing the same thing right now if I wanted to fall victim to it. So it was like, yeah, you know me, you know what I used to be about. You know, I used to be with the games, the BS, like I rock with you, I play these games, I go out with you, whatever. I know you ain't about nothing, and you know that I know you ain't about nothing, but I would still show up for the job. So it's like, now that I'm in a different space, it's at some point we have to start, I always say this, have to make a different decision, and knowing like, yeah, he might be kind of fun, he might be kind of cute, but he is nothing more than that. He is a fun boy. And guess what? He can go be fun with somebody else, because they stay, I feel like, especially too, I think I posted this today. Somebody put like, your ex can smell progress. Just stay strong or something like that. Because when you on the straight and narrow, you moving forward, you happy, you healthy, you glowing, you at peace, you know, it's like, it's Wednesday. Who this? They come out of nowhere. The ones
it's like they want to see if they can have access to you.
Oh, that's what it is. They don't want to.
It's like a test. Like, I see her improving. Could I still get that?
That's exactly it, Candice. Is not. They don't want you. They want access to you.
So that man that I mentioned from 5 years ago, I kid y'all not. He called me 2 months ago
and said,
I didn't know the number, but in my mind, you know how you like, I know that number. What is that number? But I was like, whatever. I don't know the number. He texted me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, the devil is a liar.
Yeah.
Like, nah. And then, you know, he started calling me from different numbers. And I was just like, nah, block, like, because that's the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not gonna.
I commend you, Nikita, because I feel like with you, you know, being dedicated to being abstinent, like that sometimes is a factor for us as women. I know even for me, like I've gone back because the dick like is good and the sex is good, and I remember what you did to me, or even drinking or something like that. Now I'm drunk. Now I'm on some liquor and some wine. Now I'm calling you again.
Yeah,
and I know I shouldn't be messing with you. Like I know I shouldn't be messing with you.
He will never
to that point. Like stop. Make a decision for yourself of like what you need to do for you. You know?
Yeah, because it's so easy very easy to revert back, and you get in those situations where we know right from wrong. But you're right, you know, it's one phone call, one text away, and it's like, what you gonna do? But I think ultimately we talk about that perfect peace. And Brittney, I know you're like, it's hard to describe it, but you know it. I found like once you get in it, you know what it is, and it's like, nobody can come through this barrier. It's like, you know, trying to break through gravity coming on earth. Like, no, you're not going to come through here. Nothing you can say. And for me, my peace turns into disrespect. Like if you just keep trying to approach me and I don't really care about you, I'll say anything to you. I probably need to work on that. But, you know, so that's it manifests as me just talking crazy. If you want to try and talk to me, if you're going to get some energy, it's definitely not going to be the energy that you thought. So I want to put this question out here because I don't know if this is playing devil's advocate or what, but we talked a little bit earlier about being like a whole person and what that looks like, whether it's wholeness or oneness, whatever the case may be. And actually, I want to ask, do you all think, now some of you all engaged, married, so, you know, your answers may be a little different, but do you all think, well, no, it may not. Let me just ask the question. Do you all think that life is complete if you don't have a partner? Because some people really believe that they're meant to be single forever. They're not going to be with anybody. So do y'all think life is complete if you do not have a partner?
I just couldn't disagree more.
Okay. You worded that
Like,
so well.
I just think
I'm with
so.
Kandice. I don't agree with that either. I'm a right along with her.
Yeah, I think like Kenya mentioned before, like she brought up like how sometimes like movies and stuff like that have kind of shaped how we view romance, and all of that stuff is like these criticisms of it is like they all end in marriage. Like it's only like the ride up to marriage, and then that's like the ultimate goal. You've achieved it, and story's over.
Yeah.
And I just think that is absurd, and I think it's so unhealthy, to think like that. And I think I have different issues that I ain't going to, expound on. But one of the things for me to get married was to be okay with getting divorced too.
Okay.
Like, I had to accept that could happen to me, because I think that was one of my biggest fears, is like being a divorced person. So I would almost rather just be a perpetually single person than ever have been somebody who was divorced or put my kids through something like that.
Yeah.
And so, but for me, it's like what helps me continue on and probably be a better spouse, better person, period, is knowing that your story continues to evolve, like no matter who's in or out. And life kind of brings you what you need when you need it. You kind of got to be in a place to receive things. But just because I can't envision my life not being married to my husband right now, I also know that if something were to change, life will provide me with a great alternative to whatever I have now. Like I can always find a way to be happy in whatever situation I'm presented with.
Right. I agree. I like that. Does anybody else think anything different, that life is not complete without a partner?
With Kandice, it's like, really, we have to get away from that narrative of like how it should end and just be okay with whatever you decide.
Yeah.
Like, and it may not look like what I think people think is like, since they're single, that means they're alone.
Yeah, this single is like a disease.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you gonna die by yourself. And I'll be like, wow, I honestly sometimes don't even have time for myself when I'm actually single. But I do a lot of things with friends, people, dating, whatever the case is. So it's not a life alone.
Yeah.
So can we like not even label it that? It's like, let's reframe what we even think about single is.
Yeah.
It's not me with cats at home by myself.
No.
Not at all. You live I think, like I said, you live a very full, happy life. And even being single, you still have to find time for yourself. But I think it's definitely a narrative that we have to change, and go back to season 1 or 2. We talked about being single, that it's not a plague, it's not a disease, it's not any of that. Being single is a beautiful thing. And I think, as well as, being single is a beautiful thing, being married is a beautiful thing. But one time I heard TD Jakes say that, being single is the most time you'll ever have to yourself in your life. So enjoy it while you do have it, because as soon as you start adding a spouse or kids or a dog or whatever, your time is taken away from you. So you have to realize that right then, that's the most time that you'll ever have to yourself. And how many times we get in positions where we have to do so many things for other people, and we're like, I don't have time for me, and then we trying to figure it out from there. So I absolutely don't think that, having a partner completes you. It's a great thing, but not on both sides. So I want to throw this out there. This may be considered off topic, but I think I saw it. So one of my friends posted this picture. We saw how bomb Michelle Obama looked at the inauguration. And so somebody put a picture up of her and President Obama. I still call him President Obama. Just like giving her props. And she said the Beyonce line that we would all know, she's not just his little wife. And so this man came in the comments on her page and was like, why did you say that? Like, critique that line that she said. And so she came back and told him, like, well, number one, it's a Beyonce line. But number two, being married is not like the end all be all. She had to like break it down for him. Like, yes, I love my husband, but at the end of the day, it's bigger accomplishments and bigger fish to fry. And Michelle has a lot bigger things going on than just being Barack's wife. So what do you all think about that when people think that being married is like the pinnacle of life? And again, I want to preface, like, I do desire to be married one day. If that's God's plan, I think marriage is great, but I don't think it's like the biggest thing I'll ever do in my life. So what do you all think when people have that idea that that's it? Like, you get married, that's it. You can tap out. I'm gone. I'm done.
I think that they're... Oh, go ahead.
No, I think we need to unlearn that, because, you don't want to put, like, I'm thinking of it in the context, all of us are Black women, you know, and I'm thinking about like my niece, she's 5 right now. Like, I don't want to put so much emphasis on that for her, that she believes that as she's growing up, like the things that she's accomplishing have no, like those are cool accomplishments, but you being somebody's wife, that's the top of the thing. And I just don't think that's right. And I also think it has a lot to do with like patriarchy and misogyny and things like that. And, you know, I could go on about that because, you know, I'm low key a feminist. And so I just think we need to unlearn that. And I really think, and I keep bringing this up because it's something that's been on my mind, but I feel like in the church, they do that, in the Black church. Like,
they absolutely do.
You ain't, you know, valuable until somebody has chosen you. And I just feel like, isn't that why God died on the cross? You know, he chose us when he was like, I'm gonna go up here and sacrifice myself. So we already are chosen. So why is it that marriage has to be the end goal? Like,
you gotta get chosen again.
Want to be in healthy partnerships. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, listening to Kandice, I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound scary, but my biggest fear about marriage is that I'm going to lose my individuality and my freedom. Like, I want partnership, but I'm scared that I don't want to be boxed in into just being somebody's wife. Like, so
I think that's going to come down to who you choosing as a partner.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm working through that in therapy, because my therapist was like, no, you kind of got to change your mind about how you're thinking about it. But I just know, so not a lot, but enough women to where now they literally are just somebody's wife. Like, they don't feel like they have purpose or value unless they get this man. So
we've seen
I
that.
think that, you know, I think for me, and I'm coming from as a Black lesbian, because it's not just husband and wife. And so when somebody will ask, like, well, what do they do? Or are you able to afford that? It's like, we work. Like, it's not like we're just dependent on people. So society is getting away from that. But one of the things that I noticed, you know, speaking of, you know, Obama's and the inauguration, like, for Biden's wife, they don't just say Mr. and Mrs. Biden, they say doctor. Like, they put her title in there to show that, like, she's just not a first lady. She wasn't just riding his coattail. Like, they are doing things on their own to show, because like Nikita said, like, everything that you do before your marriage, everything that you do in your marriage, like, you are still an individual person before that unit, before that team. So when you get married, they refer to you as like Chris and Samantha, or what, you know, they say both of your guys' names, but at the end of the day, not to sound somber, like, you go in that grave by yourself. Your legacy and who you are as an individual goes in there by yourself, not what, you know, they're not gonna, y'all don't go in there together. So
so you got to live this life separate and apart while you're here.
Yeah, because like I think sometimes, like, maybe our generation of women, I feel like we're like one generation removed, where we're really getting older and old enough to like define ourselves before we start having kids and before we get married. Like, for me, it's not so much the marriage thing, but it's like I've had a chance to really explore myself without being a mom. And so it really changes your mindset. And so I have to understand, like, where, like, maybe my mother or grandmother maybe coming from a completely different place. Like, when I graduated college, really the next logical step, that they were so proud of that. They were like, okay, now you can just go get married and do whatever you want to do with that boy. And I'm, you know, and that was it for them. And I think, you know, I don't think that they mean harm in that, but that is a way to protect yourself, like, societally, really. And even now I notice that there is, like, not just with other women, but like at work and stuff like that, being someone's wife has value in your career. And when you're in places, like, they look at you a different kind of way. They look at you as, like, you know, a more responsible person, or somebody who is taking life seriously because you chosen, or you are partnered with somebody permanently. And so I just think we got to get out of that period. Like, I think, and for men too, because it's value, like, and I think as long as it's almost like this Barack and Michelle syndrome, actually, because I think it's unhealthy to think of women as only wives, but I also think it's kind of sickening to me that we need everybody to be this power couple. And it's just like, the reason, like women seem to value their career accomplishments, financial accomplishments only so much as it relates to her being able to match an equal man, not for herself. That's just as bad. Like, you're still not doing it for you, you know?
Yeah, still doing it for somebody else.
So it's like, we're still in that concept. So like, if Michelle Obama wasn't educated, if she didn't look good, if her outfit didn't look good, like, we would value her less.
We absolutely would.
Even if she got that same career. So I just think we have to really watch for those cues that just show up in these other ways, because now we're asking so much of women. Like, you need to be a bomb-ass mom. You need to have an advanced degree. You need to make a substantial amount of income on your own. Like, you need to be self-sufficient. All this stuff, while also being an excellent wife and an excellent, you know, family member, friend, and all that stuff. And we're not asking men the same. So
not at all.
I agree, like, about, you know, I like to see that we have women who are getting married, but also seem to be living their own lives or respectable in their own way. But I also think we got to be careful of all the pressure we put on women by glorifying that as like the standard. Yeah. When that's almost so difficult to obtain.
I know it's even difficult for Michelle, you know.
And honestly, people don't talk about her story enough, because with Michelle Obama, this is a Harvard educated attorney who could have been and kept a career in a top law firm, but really she has taken lots of what would be viewed as career step downs to be a mom and a wife. Yeah. She has valued being a wife and a mother more than other people seem to see in her. She took part-time nonprofit work where she didn't have to do that. She could have been making a lot of money, but she wasn't, so that she could be a great mother and spouse to somebody with a political ambition. And so really she did take a career backseat for her husband, but we don't talk about that.
If people wanted to get into it, because that's exactly what she did. And that's where her value lies. But society has placed the value on.
I say that's what you're supposed to do. That is a complete woman choosing everything but herself.
And he does what he's supposed to do by elevating her now. But
now he does. Yeah. And we can appreciate that. Now he does. But I mean, it was the role she chose to play at the time. But society looks at it a different way. So I think that, the whole little wife thing, I think we just have to be mindful of it, because like we saw some meme the other day, was like, you're supposed to work a full-time job, take care of your kids, be an entrepreneur, start a new business off your $600 stimulus check, be a TikTok influencer, run your Instagram, run 3 miles a day, drink 8 ounces of water, do a line of crack.
Keep a man.
Yeah. And then keep your hair slayed every day. Who finna do all that? Like, when I read it, I was like, I am tired from reading this. But people literally try to live up to that standard, which is...
And men just pick women like that. It's like they don't even know if they care about you. They just want somebody who makes it look like they're successful because she's attractive and accomplished. They don't know shit about what you're interested in, what you care about or like. They just want to meet this Barack Michelle ideal without even knowing the whole story.
Say that because I ran into men, unfortunately, I would say in the past probably 3 years, that literally had this idea of me from like social media. And then we got together, you know, their interaction with me, I could tell was based on like maybe what I post on my stories or something. And I'm like, that's not who I am 24 hours a day, you know? And so it was like, they really didn't have interest in getting to know me. Or the other side would be men who would seem so interested in me when one, if maybe they had never met me or met me like one time. And then it's like, why are you so interested? And they name all these very superficial or things you probably could find on Google or something. And it's like, so that's who you think I am? Like, that's just only a margin of it. So it's true, but so
that's what I feel like that is what people idealize about being complete. Mm-hmm. That image is not really the truth. And that's why people are, once they get that, they realize how incomplete they are. Yeah. Because like, you know, if I'm only getting to this level of this idea of what it looks like, then I'm going to be, you know, deep in shit when I finally get into this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's the problem why everybody's going after, I want to be complete, because you think complete gets these accolades of, you know, a wife that's stay at home, a husband that's doing this. So it's like, as long as we are putting that up, then of course I'm going to try to reach that instead of really what I need, what is really about, you know, my individual self.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we have to really get away from just saying like, if you're complete, you'll get this. And this is the only thing. And Black men need to be careful about only saying she looks good if she's doing this.
And that's the whole word. And on that note,
then that's what everybody's trying to go for.
We're going to be right back with the Living Single segment.
This now brings us to the Living Single segment of the podcast. It's simply a segment where we want to send you good vibes, good energy, and give good advice on any questions that you may have about being single, dating, or relationships. Remember, nothing is off limits. So, welcome to the Living Single segment of the show, and let's get into it.
And now this brings us to the Living Single segment of the show. If you want to have your question responded to on the show, be sure to send it on our Instagram at To Be Single or Not To Be, or you can send it via the website at www.tobesingleornottobe.com. So today's question came from Instagram, and it says, I'm going to get straight to the point. I love monogamous relationships, but I can't stop cheating. I've been with my girl now for 6 months, and I love her a lot, but I can't stop cheating on her. I know you're going to tell me to just leave, and I know I need to. However, I'm not leaving. So what do I do?
Don't make me laugh.
I laugh every time these letters come in because people crazy. So this brother says,
I love her, but I can't stop cheating on her.
I can't stop cheating. And I know you tell me what to do.
I ain't leaving.
Yeah, it's the part where he says, I know. And then
he already know. Kenya, I'm gonna start with you, Kenya. I was sorry, Nikita, was you about to go? I'm gonna start with Kenya. What you think you need to do?
Girl, he pissing me off. I don't even want to answer. He don't love her. That's how I feel. You don't love her. You don't.
Let's be clear. Does he stay? He gonna stay. So
no, he has to go. He has to go. or he needs to drop name. Like, I need to know who she is so I can help her. Like, she needs to leave you.
They'll never give enough detail.
You don't leave. She needs to go.
He's staying. So one, he's trifling. We know he needs to go, but he's not. So I guess at this point, we need to try to give him some advice on what he can do to maybe stop cheating.
No, past trifling. It's not just why you keep cheating. You need to go to therapy. What is in it in you for you to think it is okay to mistreat somebody, to know you mistreating them, and then continue that?
The audacity.
Like, the disrespect, the audacity, all of the nerds.
The gall.
Like, who? Where? Like, And that therapist is going to need therapy because that's trauma on trauma. Like, you self-inflicting trauma. Okay? I'm done.
And then to say, and I ain't leaving.
Right.
He's a narcissist.
At the highest level.
And so, yes, he need to find a psychotherapist to help him unpack, like, because what I'm picking up from this is that this is how he has seen women in his life be treated. Mm-hmm. And so he needs to go and unpack that, because most times dudes who cheat like this is because they saw their mama and their granny and they ain't even get cheated on over and over. And that's how they learn. That's how you're supposed to treat your woman. Like, you got the main one and you got the rest of the crew over here.
And he getting over it by saying, but I love you. So now you saw somebody say, I'm a cheat, but because I say I love you, that makes it okay. That's water under the bridge. Right. I don't know what type of definition of love that is, but that ain't Webster.
I wish I knew how old he was.
It's the Bible either.
Yeah. When we say we love people, I will always ask my clients, what about them do you love? Mm. And usually their response to that is something that is very shallow. Mm. And it's always beneficial to them.
Yeah.
So he is there because of the benefits. He's not going to admit that when he is writing in.
Yeah.
Because it's like, truly, you can sleep with multiple people. Like, I think you should freely do that if that's your desire.
Yeah.
But what about this relationships keep you locked in to where you can't be honest with yourself and say, you know what, I enjoy a very open sexuality. Instead, you are reaping the harvest of whatever is within that home, as well as whatever your, issues are, what you haven't came to terms with. I tell my clients all the time, you can be that.
Yeah.
But you need to be that solely on your own decision, not when you're rationalizing or rationalize what is okay and not okay on somebody else's dime.
Involving other people. Do it by yourself.
Involving other people. Like,
because
you
also she may make a decision.
And fluid. Fine.
Yeah.
There's somebody who
that.
I was about to say, he may be able to find somebody who likes this. Like,
yes. I think a lot of times people get into more open relationships after they realize that that's not for them, being monogamy. But it comes to terms with being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
So stop trying to be with this idea of what you want to be and just be your true, authentic self. You want to be fluid in all your sexuality, but that woman ain't gonna do it, or that man ain't gonna do it with you.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. And I think sometimes people fake the desire for monogamy. Like, it sounds like he just wants her to be monogamous. So that's why, ain't gonna say it. I'm like, you can just be honest with her and tell her that you want to keep having sex with other people and you love her if that's what you think. That's one line of advice. Yeah. But the other one is, I agree with Heather. I don't think he loves her. I think he must love something she does for his life.
Yeah.
Because if you love her,
he's probably homeless. She probably provides shelter for him. Mm-hmm. He give me homeless vibes. He's definitely homeless.
Loves a roof over his head.
Yeah, that's it. He definitely
love should have brought your ass home last night.
Come on, Tony.
Like, come on now.
I would be curious to know if she knows that he's cheating as much.
That's what we.
The way he's cheating, she know. The way he's cheating, she know. It's that like
they only 6 months in.
Yeah, he's 6 months in.
They only 6 months in.
They only 6 months in.
He probably never. He got in a relationship while he was still, doing what he was doing.
He was fooling with other people.
Yeah. He never stopped. He never left the streets. Sis, give him back to the streets once you find out for sure.
I was smoking my cigarette because
he said,
I would work him over if he was my client. I would be asking the questions like, are you okay with yourself? Let's get there.
No, not at all. So I think the resolution, brother, number one, you need to go to therapy. Number two, you really need to just stop. But number three, you also need to have a conversation, an open and honest one with your partner, because give her the liberty to choose if she wants to be with you. She may be okay with it, or she'll probably lie for a little while and say she's okay with it, even if she's not. And then, you may just be able to move on. Maybe she will be a person that listens to some of these episodes and decides, I'm not going to deal with this shit, and leave you by yourself. But stop getting in relationships, brother. This whole thing about I love monogamous relationships, that's a lie too. You don't love monogamous relationships. You haven't been in one. What are you talking about? You love one-sided monogamy is what you love. So that's that on that. And don't ever write in again.
He gonna be joining a nation. He gonna be Muslim. Talking about, I'm just gonna get multiple wives. Okay, sir. Bye.
Bye. So on that note, if you want your questions answered on the Living Single segment of the show, please write in to our website, www.tobesingleornottobe.com, or you can send us a message on Instagram or Facebook by the same name, and we will be right back with the resolution. And now this brings us to the resolution segment. And as you guys know, this is just a quick roundtable discussion for everyone to give their final thoughts on the subject at hand. So I'm going to pose the question to you ladies, and we're going to just do a circle for everybody to give their thoughts, where you tell us, what would you say the resolution truly is for people to understand that your partner cannot complete you and that it's up to you to be complete and whole yourself. So Nikita, we're going to start with you.
I think the resolution is to just get really honest with yourself and figure out, because I feel like it's one thing to feel lonely, it's another thing to be alone. I think those are two different feelings. And so I just think you have to get honest with yourself, maybe go to therapy, try some of the things that Kenya said, yoga, journaling, because truly, if you can't be with yourself, nobody is going to be able to fill that void. So I would just say being very honest with yourself and getting clear on, maybe where some of that feeling is coming from, because you are already a whole person without a partner. So
I love it. Lakeia, what would you say?
Yeah, I agree. I think just to add even like a spiritual piece for me, because that's important for me. I feel like once I found my wholeness in God, I felt more of a completed person. So I wasn't looking for another human to complete me, because I know that I have a God who loves me and who cares about me, who's going to get and supply everything that I need. So that's one that has been helpful for me. And then, yeah, I would just say, just to give out a few like good journals, Alex L.
Yes, on Instagram.
Beautiful
follow
journals.
her on Instagram.
She does
too.
prompted journals, and they're like self-reflective journals. Even Michelle Obama's book, she has a journal that's connected to it called Becoming, and I love it. It really dives into who you were, your past experiences, where you're at now, and then where are you going. And so think like those are just helpful little journals and resources. But yeah, talking to somebody and just finding that self-love. Self-love is always first. And that's where you find that wholeness that you need.
And I think digging in to add to that, Lakeia, I think people have to dig in to really determine what that means, because that was another term that I knew what it meant, but I'm like, essentially, don't we all love ourselves? Like, yeah, I love myself, but my actions in the relationships I was signing up for didn't mirror that I really love myself. So I think that's attached to finding that perfect piece that we talked about. So,
and I sometimes challenge people when they like, do you love to be alone? Do you really love yourself? Can you spend time alone with yourself? Can you sit with your thoughts? Like that's even the other nasty, dirty parts of yourself. Like, can you learn to love all those? It's not just when I'm looking good and I'm feeling good, I'm good, I love myself. It's about, and even in those hard moments, how do you show up for yourself? So
absolutely. Heather, what would you say?
I would say after you do all of that work that these ladies are saying, I agree with each one of them. You need to also be honest with yourself if you're really ready for, this type of partnership that you feel, will be an added bonus to your life. Because like I said earlier, it's a mirror to yourself. And, sometimes you're going to realize that being in a relationship takes some compromising. And, you might not be in a place where you're ready to do that work. So, after you find yourself whole, after you, do some spiritual guidance, also ask yourself like, hey, am I ready to compromise, a part of my life? And if so, what are those areas? Because, if you think a person gonna be the all of all, you might compromise areas that you may not want to.
Right.
So just be real honest within that too.
I love it. Brittney, what would you say?
I would just say, on top of everything that everybody else has already said, is just constantly remind yourself that you are already whole, that you don't need anything externally to validate you, because external sources can always change. But you and yourself eternally, that is your constant, no matter your season or the life journey that you're on. So you are your constant. So just remember that when you say that this person completes me or my partner completes me, remind yourself that to put that power back into yourself. Don't put that power in an external source.
I love it. And last but not least, Kandice, what would be your final thoughts on the resolution?
Well, I agree with what everyone has said. And I'll come from a perspective of like after having the person. Wholeness is ongoing. Like it's never something that you don't arrive there. So you have to continue to work at it even with a partner. So choose a partner who also wants you to be whole and happy, number one, because they need to prioritize that just as much as you do for yourself. And then I'd also say, get to know yourself in your singleness, like while you're single, really commit to having an understanding of like who you are, what you want out of life, like a real overarching theme, because you will be called to compromise as you become a wife and a mother and all those things. You will have to give of yourself. and you won't know what you can afford to give out without really understanding who you are. So you can easily overexert yourself without understanding what you have to offer, and then replenishing yourself like for ongoing, like forever. So
it sounds like you have to do a constant and a strong self-assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Like how much can I take? What can I deal with? What can I give? What do I need to receive? And like you said, wholeness is a constant journey. So I definitely love that and all the opinions. And I agree with all of that. And I know I'll share more when I do the Montana Minute. But right now, that does conclude the conversation, ladies. So give yourselves a round of applause for an amazing episode. And I do want to take a moment to go around because I know many of you have businesses and Instagrams and all those good things that I want you all to share, other podcasts, stuff like that. So we'll start with Nikita. Tell the people where they can find you and your podcast.
You can find me on the Instagram at the NIKITAHAYNIE. And also I have a podcast with one of my sorority sisters, and you can follow that podcast at #2 pod.
Wonderful. Brittney, tell the people where they can find you online.
I am on IG under Allowing Change LC. So my business name is Allowing Change. And then my website where you can find me is allowingchange.com.
Wonderful. And then Heather, please tell the people where they can find you and those wonderful pieces that I need to be ordering.
You can find me on Lifestyle with Heather, or you can also look at my website, hstylestudio.com. And if you are looking for a therapist, you can always go to She Counseling and Coaching. Both of all of those areas are available.
All right. Did you tell them your last name so they can locate you?
My name is Heather Collins. I am on Psychology Up Today.
All right. And LaKenya, tell the people where they can find you. I know you just put those beautiful headshots out there.
Okay, yes. I am a pre-licensed therapist, but I am just started private practice. So you can also find me at She Counseling Services and on Psychology Today. I am on Instagram and Facebook, Kenya_doll or Kenya doll. And be on the lookout for a vlog of me and my daughter pretty soon. That's called My Supernova Life.
Yay!
I'm really excited about that.
That is awesome. And I was going to ask, are you all taking any virtual clients right now, with everything going on?
Yes. Right now, yes, we're fully virtual.
Okay, wonderful. And Kandice, last but not least, where can the people find you?
You can find me, Kandice Allen Mitchell. I'm an attorney and housing policy advocate. So for whatever reason you want to talk about that, you can find me on Instagram at Kandice_Michelle_.
You never know what people might need to listen to this show. Look, you might can't defend this person that wrote in for the living single topic, but we might need to send him your way. It sounds like he might need some kind of legal advice at some point.
If she hears this, he gonna
right at some point. So again, I want to thank you all for coming on the show. Your opinions are always valued and appreciated. This was an awesome conversation that we had tonight, and one I know that will be a continued conversation because, one side is fortunate because it gives me something to talk about on the show. On the other side, it's like, we got to teach ourselves to do better. But I know it's something that we'll continue to enlighten and enhance the people's lives with. So on that note, we'll be right back with the Montana Minute. And now this brings us to the Montana Minute. The first thing, I think we made it explicitly clear. No person will complete you. They can compliment you and add value to your life, but the notion of them completing you is outdated info, and we want to do away with that now. The next thing, know the difference between being independent, being codependent, and being interdependent. I think being interdependent is the key term I want you all to focus on and learn more about when it comes to healthy relationships. And the last thing, you are a whole person, whether you are partnered or not. So do not base your happiness on how you move in this life based on your connection to another person and how you think they will make you whole, because you will only come up short every single time. So be sure that you visit our website for our latest collection that we've dropped, the Love Collection, and tag us in your apparel on social media when you rock it. So now I must ask, to be single or not to be? That is the final question. Signing off, yours truly, Shanna Montana.